Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 90 of the Luke and Lewis Show. Very special episode because let me tell you, if you thought Luke and Lewis was gay before, we're about to double it up. Welcome to the show, Christian Hull.
Yes.
Welcome, mate.
Hi. I'm so excited to be here.
Oh, it's
That's
great
good.
to have you for the first official time on the show. Obviously, you've come in and out. There was a dick pic that may or may not have been sent.
Hey, can we go 15 seconds without talking about gay sex, Christian? Can we make that promise to the listeners?
Yes.
God, no.
To be fair,
It's going to be horrific.
it was me who... It was me who directly mentioned. I just think it was the thing that everyone expected when they saw Christian in the title. They thought, okay, we're gonna get the boys discuss the dick pic that may or may not have been sent.
Yes.
So I just want to get it out of the way early. Now, obviously,
Should we do a recap for the listeners?
Yes.
Mr.
So
Kidgel, my lawyer.
Yeah, let's.
we were trying to get Daniel Tocknell, the celeb spot king, on the show. So we were looking through. There's this guy. He spots celebrities usually at the airport, and we wanted to chat to him because we love a good celeb spot. And we were going through Daniel's Instagram, and one of the celebrities on the Instagram that we knew
Sorry,
personally.
can I just stop you there? You didn't just want to chat to him. You were desperate to get on his Instagram. Okay, you were begging
That's true.
to be
Yeah,
photographed.
We
Let's not
really-
take out that air of desperation
That's
that
true.
you guys were seeking.
That is true.
That's
See,
true.
we really wanted to be qualified because we couldn't really categorize us as celebrities unless we've been on his Instagram. Because
Yeah.
any celebrity that comes to Australia
Correct.
gets on his
Oh my
Insta.
God.
We felt
Everyone.
like we thought we were doing pretty well until we realised we haven't been on the Celeb Spot King's Insta. So that was
Yeah,
the
I was
goal,
on twice.
mainly to
And then
qualify.
I
You
was
were.
like, did you see I was on again? He
You
did
got a
like
repost
throwback.
during
I got a
quarantine.
repost.
A
Yeah,
throwback
I know,
on a
right?
Thursday. God damn, I was so jealous when I saw that.
So I was so excited.
Yeah, because we were trying to loophole our way onto his Instagram, trying to get on there. Like, oh, if he's on our show, he'll just take a photo of us. But since then, he's actually tracked us down in public multiple times. So we're on his radar now, thank God. And anyway, so one of the
That's
ways...
your measure of success.
Yeah,
It
it
really
absolutely is, Christian,
Yes,
okay?
yes.
Get on
it's
it.
mine too, don't worry.
So then, in order to try and get him on, we went down his Instagram. You were one of the people that we knew. So we thought, let's hit up Christian. Hopefully Christian remembers Daniel. Then Christian sent... then Christian sent Daniel a message to get on the show. Now, in the heat of the moment on the phone, Lewis threw out a massive call and said...
Big call. Biggest
if
call
you-
of the show.
If you get us Daniel, I'll send you a picture of my cock.
Yes.
Now...
Big old photo of your dick in exchange for a chat with Daniel.
Now, as always happens with any time when you're a celebrity, as obviously all of us here are,
Now.
obviously when there's any kind of sexual contact between people, often non-disclosure agreements are signed. That's a very common theme. Rappers will have a party, you got to put your phone in a bag and you sign an NDA. You can't speak of what happened. If sex happened and you talk about it, you'll be sued. Now, what I've reached an agreement with my lawyer, Mr. Kidgel, and Mr. Hull, is we've reached an agreement where we cannot confirm or deny whether I sent a picture of my penis to Mr. Hull, but we do have the evidence of Daniel Tocknell coming on the show after I have made that promise.
Yeah.
So we're just saying to the listeners, neither of us can confirm or deny whether that happened due to legal reasons,
Yep.
but you can make your own conclusion.
Now, in saying that, there's a few people that I, at the time, were skeptical of if the cock pic was ever sent. But again, I guess those people will never find out. So as long as we've addressed it,
Yeah, I mean, I have to choose my words very carefully. God, I can't even talk. I'm thinking too much because of things that I may or may not have signed.
and there's also, remember, there's a lawyer present, so just be careful.
Just watch your words, Mr. Hull.
Oh, yeah, I mean, a lawyer's a stretch, but
Well, Lewis's lawyer.
Yeah, my lawyer. Yeah.
really, you're gonna put the
A lawyer within my budget.
I do pro bono stuff. I mainly just work weekends. Anyway.
bono being a good word. I think what I
Mostly
can
pro
say-
bono.
Yeah, pro bono. look, pro bono is a good word.
Pro bono and pro bono. All right, continue.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Can say that whatever has happened in the past, I feel like I am, I guess, I have a bigger appreciation for Lewis.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm glad.
All I can
I'm
say
glad.
is I'm impressed with your work on the podcast.
And that
Thank you.
is emphasis on the word bigger there as well.
We are dangerously
you're
close to
firm.
breaching this contract.
Firm with your beliefs and
Yeah. That's
good.
So, Christian, another thing I guess that people will be wanting us to bring up with you, there's been some heated debate on the show very recently. You may have noticed at the start, Lewis said, now our show has got even gayer. We actually already had gay representation on this show because our video editor, Ruben, has been having some adult sleepovers as a 23-year-old man regularly with
Ruben.
another male. Now,
Just
they're
one
not...
other male?
One other
just
male.
one male recurring, and we wanted to get your opinion on this. Our theory, Luke and I, we believe that this is extremely gay behaviour. So we've brought in the gayest man in Australia
it's
to
not
decide.
Actually, I would say no straight away. That is not
Now,
a gay behaviour.
on first glance, Christian, I would agree with you. But can I describe
Okay.
these sleepovers?
Here we go.
Okay, they are sober sleepovers. They are pre-organised. So come over to my house
that
for a
doesn't work in your
sleepover.
favour.
right?
Yeah.
Now, this is not a crash situation. Now, what these boys do is they play board games and create board games together. And
that's
yes, see, it's getting gayer by the moment.
Well, it's more nerdy. I'm going to go with that's more nerdy.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Are there any other points to this?
They
this is-
hang out for 24 hours straight. It just sounds like a relationship to me.
And there's a
They'll
lot of
come over at
kissing as well. There's a
midday
lot of
and
kissing.
then leave at midday the next day. 24 hours of friendship, that's a lot of friendship.
I'm confused. Are we being horrifically homophobic to someone? What I don't. What?
No,
What?
this is
Like,
our
are you
scientific
gay?
opinion.
No,
you're just-
so
No, you just
Yes,
got
he
a
is.
friend over. Is
yes.
that it?
No,
Thank you.
it's not homophobic.
Dicks in anyone's hands?
No.
Well, I mean, there's your answer.
I mean, dick, board game, you know.
What do you think? Like, what are you guys on the opinion of? That's gay.
Well,
Yeah,
That's
it's
what
just,
they've been saying, yes.
Yes.
I'm so sorry. You have a studio warehouse in a shed, and you would have Luke over all the time.
This is true, Lewis.
This is true, and we have been. Yeah,
We
talking a lot
often
about
hang out.
exchanging dick
We often
pics,
hang
which
out
we
in a
can't confirm or
warehouse
deny.
together, and I'm
Yeah.
also your cock lawyer. So I don't.
That is true. My friend controls the licensing arrangements of my penis, so that is quite homosexual. The tables have turned.
I mean, I don't. It's like the pot calling the kettle black in this instance.
I think that Christian might be too gay to answer this question because
No.
he's gone too far.
No,
So
I'm
it-
the accurate representation of what gay really
Yes,
is. Now, if,
he's the expert.
If it was, you know, for maybe anywhere between 3 and 15 minutes at a time, I'd be sus. That's a bit gay. If it was
Yeah.
multiple men, then I would also be on the sus wagon.
Oh, okay.
But
So
because it's just
we
like,
thought it was the opposite. We thought that because it was one-on-one, that made it more gay. We thought the more men, the less gay. You're the opposite opinion, as the expert, PhD and D.
ooh, PhD in D. I love that.
Yeah, I reckon. I think we just
putting that on
stumbled
my
across.
Twitter bio.
I was gonna say we just stumbled across like some new merch as well. Like put that on a fucking t-shirt ASAP. That's really good.
Ooh, I mean, that's a good point, because if you were having a games night with a group of guys, I suppose that is a bit less gay, because one-on-one would imply that, you know, you could sort of, and I'm not accusing you of doing this, but you could like
That's fine.
manipulate
That's okay. We can do that for
the
you.
person into doing some, we could do, into doing things. Like, I don't, That sounds
Okay.
a bit rapey. I don't mean in a rapey way. But
Okay, I think we can conclude this with Lewis and I think may have to admit we're wrong here. We've been arguing this for about 3 weeks now, and their only argument really was we had one gay listener of the show who was in a gay relationship confirm that Ruben's activities were very similar to the activities of himself, and he said, I can confirm Ruben is in a gay relationship. That's what one listener of the show
Maybe
said.
he's in a gay relationship with a bad sex life.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean,
I'm celibate.
does that exist? I mean, see, I come from the opposite perspective where any hole's a goal, and like I'm just more on Grindr, and it's a bit more fleeting.
Right.
So for me, having one person, I'm like, ugh, that's boring. It's a bit snoozy. So, but I mean, if I was going to give my ultimate takeaway, I would say it's not very gay,
But it's kind of homosexual.
It has an air of homosexuality. Like I would.
We'll take that.
We're taking it. That's a win for the show.
Well, we can officially put it to rest. You can invite me over, and
And then we can really find out if it's gay.
All right. Well, what have you been up to, Christian? You've recently moved to Brisbane. You moved from Melbourne to Brisbane, which seems like a very strange move for the gay man. I would have thought it'd be more of a Sydney vibe.
Oh my god, no!
Would
The gays up here. There's so many gays.
Really?
There's heaps, and I moved into a suburb called Tenerife, which is I didn't realise the gay capital of Brisbane. So it's like only the gays.
Right.
There's a few straighties here, but it's just you look out the window and it's just
Straighties.
and they're all fit
Yeah.
in their short shorts. I don't fit in at all. But I moved. Melbourne is just cold and miserable. It's just too grey and.
I love that.
I
Cold,
moved there
miserable, and straight. That's
It
my
matches
vibe.
your personality, Melbourne. It's just
Yeah.
like Lewis is the most Melbourne person ever. It's just like
Yes.
he wears black,
Yeah.
doesn't speak to anyone. Just a very hustle bustle kind of guy. But
Yeah.
I
contracts.
really
Very
agree
corporate,
with
yeah.
Christian here in the sense that I think if I was like super rich, if I could have a second house, it probably would be in Queensland. I just like the weather, I
it's
like
beautiful.
the vibe.
It's sunny. Like it's today's a cold Brisbane day and it's 19 degrees. So it's the vibe.
That sounds terrible.
And you prefer the cold?
I love the cold. I love that. Go out, dress up, intimidate people. It's great.
Because you're the opposite of me because I don't like wearing long pants.
Yeah, I love
I'd
that.
Never,
Fuck shorts.
I never wear. Yeah, no.
Actually, that's a good point. At the radio station, I don't think I ever saw you in jeans. You were always wearing shorts.
Yeah, never. I don't own a pair.
You're like me in primary school. I never wore pants in primary school for some reason. But then since then, I've evolved.
Straight underwear. Yeah, right.
I never wore underwear in primary school. I
Now
only wore
that
shorts.
is ambitious.
Yeah,
Wait, is that
I
because
didn't
you were
wear
poor?
underwear. A little bit, but also I just didn't wear them.
Wait, you freeballed for like 7 years. That's incredibly
like-
inappropriate.
I freeballed until
Yeah.
like year 4 when I got dacked and everyone saw my nuts.
Mate, you know what? And back then, sounds like you needed a great lawyer to just to control the licensing of whoever saw
Well,
that
that's why
cock
I'm
that
so
day.
careful about it now because, once it's exposed,
learned.
it's kind of worth nothing. You never give away your IP for free. That's something I've learned in this business.
Yeah, your
God, it's killing
IPD.
me. I can't talk about it. Well, I may or may not agree with you on those things that you've said about your own penis. So.
That's right.
Now, Christian, we just before we started recording, we're briefly discussing you're missing doing live shows during these troubling times.
Yeah, so I was supposed to... What's today? Actually, I think I was supposed to kick off a tour this weekend that we ended up having to
It's
cancel.
weird
Have
when you hit that date where you were supposed to start and it just feels strange, doesn't it?
I've been getting all
Yeah.
these emails from Virgin and all these hotels going like, check-in is now open. And I'm like, it's just like rubbing it in. Like, because they're automated. I've
Just a
cancelled the
reminder,
flights.
we're not giving you a refund.
Yeah, they didn't. They literally
do you-
have not refunded any of my flights. I had to pay for them all. They've refunded them in credits.
Yuck.
but they're not a business at the moment. So that's like having a gift
No.
voucher at a store that doesn't exist, you know?
This is going to sound entitled and horrible, and it is, because a lot of people.
Great, I
sort of
love that.
Jobs are in.
This is the perfect place to do that.
16,000 people's jobs are in question, and here's my petty little rant at Virgin.
Yep.
I, for the last couple of years, have been trying desperately to get to platinum status, and because you get a secret entry, and the day that I got platinum, because Virgin was in question, they decided to give people some extra points because they were holding flights back. So it tipped me into platinum, and then I got my little platinum card.
Love
and then that day,
officially better than the peasants.
Yes. Oh my God. It's like now I've hit like peak wealth and celebrity because I've got a secret entrance. And then that day they went into liquidation and they ceased to exist.
That's so brutal.
Was
not good.
Devastated.
Yeah.
That's like
But
becoming a king and then having your country overthrown the next minute. That is
That is
just...
the best metaphor. It's exactly what's happened to
Oh,
me. King.
that is so brutal. That must be such a brutal, like, because the card would look so pretty, but the use of it is non-existent.
No, but I did think that maybe in like 20 or 30 years' time I can go on Antiques Roadshow. You know, like Ansett merch now would be worth quite a lot of money. So I'm sort of thinking about that. I mean,
No, I reckon they'll come back, Virgin. That someone will buy them out, surely.
well,
I think
hopefully.
Well, I got
I've
about
also
$3
got-
grand in flight, so fucking I'm praying.
Well, I hope they come back, because otherwise, when we all start touring together, we're either going to have to choose between Qantas and making no money, or fucking Tiger and dying.
Yeah.
That'll be the only
Jets-
options.
No, there's no. Like, it's Qantas all the way. Jetstar. Oh, and I would like Tiger. Oh, you'd never get to your tour on time if you were to fly Tiger.
See, we've actually, Lewis and I have spent years regularly flying Tiger. Like, if there was never an
To this
airline
day.
that I will be
Really?
platinum in, it would be Tiger. But they are so shit, they don't even have a rewards program, right? But we had a way
They
worse
don't
time
have
with
two
Jetstar.
tiers, like black and orange.
Yeah, but they only are so Jetstar way worse than Tiger. We've found
Way worse.
So like the delays we've had have been on Jetstar. Like one time we're at the airport for 6 hours, and then they weren't telling us. Tiger, if there's ever a delay, they text you beforehand, going like, oh, you know, like Jetstar is like you rock up to the airport and it's like, well, fuck, let's hope for the best, because they're not going
That
to
is-
tell us either way.
So good to know, because I would have chosen Jetstar over Tiger.
And I've actually had better experiences, controversial, with Virgin over Qantas. I like
Me
Virgin
too.
better.
Yes,
I like Virgin better.
100%. Virgin is like priority
It's all,
one. But
Qantas is all just old white people watching Sky News. Like, that's all it is.
It really is.
That
was
like
the
it's a
weirdest
school
thing.
camp on the little, like, TVs that come down every 4 seats, you know, and everyone
really
watches the
funny
same
is-
thing.
I feel like every time I've been on a Qantas flight, which hasn't been too many, there's always been like a radio announcer from 2GB. Like Ray Hadley was one, and I think I had
Just like Darren Hinch or something like that.
Yeah, there was another one, and I was
Taking
like, wow,
a quick break from screaming at immigrants to catch a flight.
Can we just Sky News just come out of nowhere as like the Fox News with all these terrible?
I
people
think
on
that's
it?
what they're trying to do. They're trying to be like the Fox News, so they
It's
have
like they're aspiring to be the worst, because every time I watch it, I'm like, this is incredible how terrible
They had
this is.
George Pell on their show as an exclusive.
Really?
crazy.
Yeah, Andrew Bolt exclusively chats to George Bell coming
Yeah.
up, and you're like, what?
Were they just agreeing with each other the whole time?
Well, Andrew Bolt has staunchly supported him throughout this
the
whole
whole
ordeal,
time.
which is why he agreed to go on. And like,
Jesus.
I'm watching, and I get clips, you know, fed to me in YouTube and Twitter. All these of them, just they're everywhere now, and like.
Yeah.
Like even, I don't know enough about Paul Murray because I used to work, he was at Triple M when I was there, and I don't know, I was like, wow, he was never this controversial. And it's like, do they really believe this, or is it just because...
I mean, that's a really good question about a lot of news, because it's no longer about being factual, it's about attention. So it's like getting attention and saying crazy shit is what makes these companies money and gets clicks. So all
And
of
it's
these
the same thing
editors
for
are
us,
like
though.
funding nuts people. Well, yeah, it's the same thing for
Like
us.
if we use
Like,
clickbait, we get more views. Like if we put like edgy stuff in the title, people are like, well, that sounds juicy. You know, let's click on it.
I feel like I get a little bit tinfoil hat weary when I go on my rants about the media. But I hate the media, and then I look at there's drama on YouTube at the moment. If you're aware, like H3H3 and Keemstar.
Yeah, I'm
You've
all
seen
over
that?
it.
Gnome
And
versus lesser looking
Oh,
gnome.
Well, this is the thing. Like, I didn't realise H3. Like, I was such a fan of his, and then I watched Gokanaru video, which is like an hour expose on him, and I was like, oh, he's just as bad as Keemstar. And then Keemstar, I equate to the Daily Mail of YouTube. Like, it's just sensationalised bullshit.
He's TMZ. That's the real one. He's TMZ reporting on 15-year-old.
I mean, it's called
TikTok
Drama
stars.
Alert. Like, it is pretty much TMZ.
But it's so... I just find the internet so terrifying because I've noticed within myself, like, I'll watch for like the James Charles and Tati Westbrook drama. I don't know. You probably heard about it, but it was like...
all over
I
it.
never heard of Tati. I watched her video and I immediately believed everything she said, and I hated James Charles. Then James
it really
came
does
with
that.
his... Yeah, 3 million. He lost 3 million subscribers from her video. I didn't know her. I had no reason to believe she was true. And then I watched James's sort of reply video, and I was like, oh my God, she's in her 30s. He's 19. He's articulated this so well. I became a James Charles fan. And I was like, why am I so persuaded by these two people? I don't know their story. James could be lying. Tati could be lying. And that lesson... Like, watching that drama unfold taught me that I've really just got to sit back and...
You have to wait.
You have to make your own opinion.
You have to wait. And
But
you've
also,
got to do your own research.
It's a really good example of what happens to people who only consume one side of the media as well.
Yeah.
It's like if you're just being drilled a certain thing into you, you kind of have to sit back and form your own opinion a little bit and take in a little bit of both and work out where you sit. Because
It's very... Yeah.
it's just good. Really, those videos, I watch a lot of those YouTube drama things. It's really easy to make someone look like a villain. Like
Easy as,
it's really it's like
Well,
it's
that's
kind of
what
like
reality TV
year
do,
12
though.
persuasive writing in a way. It's like you
Yeah.
use like empathy, you use all those techniques they taught you in
Yes.
high school, and then you can just throw someone into the dirt if you have enough subscribers.
But what terrified me was I then watched some videos about how obviously you can manipulate receipts. DMs can be fabricated. Even videos of Instagram, you know, when they're like, this is real, this isn't photoshopped, and they screen record themselves.
You can fake
I
that.
watched a guy completely go into Premiere and break it down, and you see where they've accidentally left a frame in, and you're like, oh shit, not even that. You can't even believe when people say they have receipts.
And that's just YouTube, of just like one guy editing it himself. You look at the news, and it's teams of people with agendas who are like funding political parties and trying to get shit passed. And it happens on the left and the right too. And what makes it worse is it's why you have to be so conscious of doing that thing where you wait and do your own research is the way social media works and the algorithms. Social media, when you set up an account, in like a week, they can tell your political opinions, and then they'll be like, all right, this guy believes the right-wing stuff, so that's the only thing we're gonna show him. This person hates feminism and or is a real lefty, so that's the only thing we're going to show him. And then you have these people who think they've done their research, but they've only been shown shit they already agree with, and now in their minds, they're both correct, the other person's wrong. There's no discussion at all. Because I've talked about it a lot. I think, like, almost anything that you believe, unless it's like something concrete like 2 + 2 is 4, you can find an argument that sounds true as fuck and has research
As a
to
kid,
back it
someone
up.
told me 2 + 2 equals window. So
window?
already, there's different
There you go.
arguments,
Which
man.
is it?
You know.
Yeah.
You never know who to believe anymore. It's like, fuck, is my math teacher right or this other 8-year-old? You know.
That's how you
Who
get
knows?
the math window society.
But no, you make a good point. This is why I just hang back and let everyone fight, and I'm just like chilling, watching Star
But
Wars or some
isn't it
fantasy
scary?
bullshit.
It's terrifying because it's also like that instance, you also realise it's, you know, Fox News versus like the Young Turks, and then you've got like Rachel Maddow. It's like they're the same. It's Tati and James, and it's really hard because unless you're physically, you know, like in the Iraq war zone, you don't know what's the truth, so you'll never know, and that's the really scary part. And then the other thing that I think I learned, and I know this is going to be maybe a bit controversial. For you, Lewis, is Lele Pons just released her docu-series. I don't know if you've watched any of that.
No.
And I absolutely dislike Lele Pons. Her content, it's not funny. I don't understand it, and I think I'm really jealous of her success. I don't understand where this hatred comes from, because she's not making videos for me. And, you know, like, she has no relevance in my life, but I actively hate her. I watched her.
You've been watching too much Lewis Spears, mate. I don't hate the bitch. I made a video saying she shouldn't be entertaining kids with her tits, and you were like, all right, I hate her. Lewis is right.
Yeah, yes, that's the thing. But not only you, like, I watched your video, but then it was like a million other videos get recommended to me. And so you just, you want to passionately jump on a bandwagon, and I did. And then I watched her docu-series, which is the first time that she's ever been humanised. And she's you really learn about her, and you go, oh fuck, I feel like a dickhead. You know, like she's a person who makes terrible content, but
she is a human behind it. Yeah, that's why you've got to be careful with all these exposed things. Like, that's why when I make videos, I try real hard to make sure that I'm not like punching down on some vulnerable person, which we've seen the consequences of.
Well, that's what Keemstar, I think, does.
You have to be careful, and you also have to be careful not to be malicious, which is a real dangerous thing, which I've made the mistake of doing in the past. But, like, I mean, if you watch my second Susan McLean video, I'm fucking angry as fuck in that. And you can make that error where you go, oh shit, have I pushed it a bit far? Because, you know, you can say something, you got no idea how your audience is going to react and then take that information. That's when the doxing and harassment shits happen, which thankfully has never happened to someone that I've done something on, because I think I've managed to cultivate a reasonable audience, but not everybody does.
I think a really good rule to set is you keep it to the content. Like, whatever you're reviewing, whoever you're doing it of, you keep it to anything that's publicly available that they've put out themselves, and you don't go past that. As soon as you start looking into their personal life to try and hit them where it hurts, that's when it can get too far.
Yeah, you're crossing a line, I think.
Of who?
The sponsorship, the G Fuel. What do you think about, you know, H3H3 being, you know...
Are you aware of any of this, Luke?
Oh, I've seen the 40-minute videos pop up of them content nuke and all this shit, and then I've seen the first minute of both of them, and I'm like, why? I sat there and I was like, okay, am I going to watch a 45-minute video that starts with Ethan crawling in his backyard as a safari guy? I'm like, fuck no, I've got better shit to do. I would rather jerk my dick off than sit there and watch this shit. I was like, so no, I don't know.
Well, you, Luke Kidgel, have better priorities than me, because I've watched all that shit and people's perspectives on it. Basically, I don't know, it's all the shit you've seen before. Keemstar's a bad person, and blah, 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 and then Keemstar going, Ethan's a liar, he's a bad person. But the thing that was a little bit different was Ethan pointed out all of the bad things that Keemstar's done, and then, which I thought were all valid points, but then he went after Keemstar's sponsor, and he was like, why are these people sponsoring Keemstar? And then that brand, G Fuel, pulled their sponsorship from Keemstar. So he cost Keem, I mean, hundreds of thousands of dollars, probably. But the danger now is, I don't necessarily think questioning why people sponsor terrible things wrong. But what you do is you open that gate for everyone to do it to you. Ethan essentially taught everyone who watched that video and disagreed with it how to do what he did to Keem to him. And now it looks like, on Twitter at least, people are getting all of these sponsors that sponsor Ethan's podcast, they're sending them clips of him telling fuck jokes, which I think is fine, to these brands, and these brands have all pulled out. So Ethan, if I'm to believe tweets, which I don't know how true it is, looks like he's lost about 6 or 7 sponsorships himself. He's looking like monetarily coming off worse than Keem in this. because he opened that gate, and he was just like, it's like the Cold War, you know? There were no nukes thrown, but as soon as one person throws a nuke, the whole world would have been over. It's mutually assured destruction. And that's kind of what happened.
So it's just they just both fucked each other and nothing really came of it, except for
other than entertaining
a bit
us.
of a spike in views.
Yes.
That's
I
about
think
it.
so. Yeah.
But Keemstar hasn't even lost that many subscribers. Like, honestly, I think it was Ethan.
Probably gained some because the
very
video got a lot of
egotistical,
views.
and he was criticised, and so he launched this whole video against Keemstar. But then the sponsorship dilemma is. See, I go, well, G Fuel should know that Keemstar is pretty horrific, and they're basically funding his show, essentially. But it's like the Alan Jones debate. When Alan Jones says something, all the sponsors pull out, but then they
realise, oh, fuck, we have to sponsor this guy because there's millions of people watching. Like, I think it comes down to less should we attack sponsors. It should be, hey, sponsors, do research over who you're fucking supporting, because it's like if you're supporting Keemstar or Ethan, you know what they do, or you at least should know what they do. They do fuck stuff. They do questionable things, whether that's jokes or fucking doxing or whatever their past. If you're sponsoring that, you need to stand by it. And when people get angry, unless they've done something crazy out of character, then I understand that. But all the stuff that Ethan's getting sponsors pulled out for, that's shit he did in the past. You should know about that. And chances are they did know about that. They're just worried about getting in trouble. It's all fucking manufactured outrage anyway. No one actually gives a fuck. No one's gonna be like, oh, I'm not gonna buy fucking this G Fuel energy drink because of what Keemstar said. If you
They
like
probably
the
just
flavor,
won't buy
you're
it
probably gonna
because it's
get it.
bad for your heart. You know, that's a better reason not to buy that shit.
They're not going to lose that much, but I think it's that whole brand perception and that fear.
Yeah.
And then also, they do need to do their research, but, you know, I just feel like sponsors, they don't. They've got PR companies that need to hit targets. They need to hit, like, they're not looking at, I find a lot of them, it's the reach. We need to reach 1 million people. How do we do that at the cheapest cost?
Yes,
this guy, this guy, this guy, and this guy. Bam, do it. And then it's like Alan Jones. You know, we need to reach the most.
That is often how it works.
Most.
Yeah, because often it's not the brands themselves are not actually sponsoring these creators. The brands, generally how it works, the brand will give $500,000 to 3 different PR companies and go, we want this many downloads of our app, Raid Shadow Legends, whatever. And then these PR companies will go bang, 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 just handing it out to YouTubers and people. They don't give a fuck, because at the end of the day, if I get sponsored and I say something crazy, the PR company doesn't get in trouble. Fucking Raid Shadow Legends gets in trouble. So they don't really care. So when you show a brand who they're sponsoring and they pull out, that's because they kind of didn't do their job of the PR company going, you know, make sure you don't sponsor anyone that said the N-word on a podcast, please, or whatever.
Yeah, it's also interesting. Brands, and I don't think they'll ever sort of really do their research or ever really, because, you know, you can get one tweet on Twitter and a brand will freak out. They'll just completely freak out. It'll be an anonymous tweet, which I think there's the issue with. I mean, I like going for people's sponsors because they are sponsoring horrific content if something does hit the fan. And then the other alternative is it only takes one tweet and it's all over anyway. So,
well, it is that hard line of like, I don't think questioning why people are sponsoring things is out of the question. I do think in this case, maybe not. I think Keem's done a lot of bad shit, and the exploiting people with mental illness I thought was really bad.
Yeah, that was the only thing I had an issue with. The rest I was like, well, it's just, you know, they know what they're doing.
The rest I thought was edgy trolling, Keemstar being Keemstar. He's not a bad person, not a very good guy. We all know that. But the problem is, where do you decide it's crossed the line where you need to question sponsors? Because, I mean, what's happening to Ethan, I think people are literally only doing it because they don't like him, and he has opened the floodgates, which I think is scary as me, a creator, of like, oh shit, now this guy's taught millions of people, if you really want to hurt a YouTuber, fuck leaving a comment and a dislike. Email their sponsor, and that's very scary. As someone who makes controversial content and who makes nothing from ad revenue, you know, it's sponsors and Patreon. That's why I don't think I'll ever delete my Patreon, because when you do that, you rely on sponsorships, and that shit can be taken away from you by bad actors. Whereas if the actual people who genuinely like you, support you and fund you, no one can take that away unless you yourself fuck up your own content and start doing something that they don't enjoy.
Yeah. Well, I recently was offered to do Facebook supporters, which is identical to Patreon. But and because I've got a lot of mums, Patreon just wasn't successful for me because they were just unaware of it. But this Facebook supporter group. And I learnt pretty quickly that, one, these are all your core fans. So they'll spruik you to high heaven. They give you the best content ideas. They'll buy all my merch. And also, I now don't need to rely on sponsorship deals or
and that's
YouTube
fucking awesome.
revenue. Oh my God. Especially when a pandemic hits and you're cancelling tours, you're like, okay, thank God I've got this monthly income. As long as I don't say anything.
I would have had to
horrific
get a
and they
job
all
at
disappear.
Woolies if it wasn't for Patreon, I reckon.
Actually, yeah, for sure.
In that
moved
first
out.
bit after the comedy festival got cancelled, I spent 2 months, and I owed a bunch of money as well. I still do, because my whole tour got cancelled. Because I had a whole thing booked in till June.
Marketing. I didn't realise.
Dude, marketing spend was half of it.
You don't get your money back.
And
do
the
ya?
merch, dude, I bought 400 t-shirts.
No.
Do you know how much that cost?
And now they won't sell.
A lot.
Yeah, that was just for the comedy festival, and then thank fuck there was more on order, and we managed to cancel it.
And
dude,
and that's at a time when advertisers are pulling their ads off YouTube and shit. So the already tiny amount that we would have been making off ads is gone. But thank fuck, Patreon didn't change at all. A few people dropped out because their financial situation changed, which is totally fine. But a few people joined up because they started getting government money. So that's literally a lifeline.
My supporters.
Yeah.
Really?
Because it's the only... Because I'm now locked at home, there's nothing to do, and I just made a shit ton of Facebook content. And, I did have a couple of videos go over to America. I did one on homeschooling, which just everyone related to, and then the Tiger King one, and then that just brought in so many people.
Mums, huh?
You're the only person I know that's still doing really well on Facebook. Our Facebooks are dead. I've got 300,000 followers, and I get like 200 likes a video.
Yeah.
Well,
it's fucking dead.
Before isolation, it was the same, and I was so... It's so unmotivating. I found Facebook just so unmotivating because nothing would work. Facebook supporters really helped that, because now I had a community of... engaged people, be it small, it's quite rewarding. Yeah. And then I was so shocked that those two videos got over 1 million, because it just doesn't happen. And then that brought in some new people from America. And so I was reposting a lot of old content, which was going really well because they hadn't seen it. And then I'm just sort of on a wave on Facebook, which will ultimately probably come crashing down.
But it's great while it lasts, though. All those things. When you're in the algorithm and then your old videos are being recommended from the new ones, that's the peak spot.
Who misses 2012, huh?
Yeah. That was the peak. Christian, one thing... Actually, no, I won't ask you that. But also, before we move on from this Keemstar thing, why the expose I want to see is, why has no one done a video about why the fuck his beard is so shiny? He's a glossy guy.
Isn't he?
It's shaped. It's just like it's like a triangle below his chin. Yeah. It's weird.
It's perfect.
And it's so never looks different. It's looked the same for like 5 years, and no one's talking about it. It's crazy.
Say Keemstar's beard is so perfect that it's actually quite a womanly beard.
Yeah, it's actually better well kept than the girl from The Greatest Showman. It's like a better beard than that.
Yeah.
I'm envious, because when I grow facial hair, I grow it to cover the 45 chins that I've got, but then it turns into a disaster and it grows out.
Wait, this should be the intro to
I make no apologies. This is me.
Yeah, Keemstar's beard.
I like his beard. Just don't like him really as a person.
Yeah. Maybe if he... you know what? Actually, yeah, if he shaved, there's no redeeming qualities about him at all. He no longer looks like a
his
gnome. He's
eyebrows.
just the worst.
I think
He's got
that
good
what
eyebrows.
I've learned from all of this cancelling drama is like,
Doesn't exist.
if someone tries to cancel you, if someone goes basically,
Yeah.
you're a terrible person, or you tell horrible jokes, or this or that, you're a horrible person, all the person has to do is go, yes. And they are fine. If you apologize, you're fucked. But if someone goes, I can't believe you would tell these terrible jokes, I would just go, yeah, that's what I do. My audience loves it. You don't have to like it. If I apologize, all of a sudden, I've like capitulated to this angry mob who never like me and never will.
Yeah.
So, and I've pissed off my own fans because now they're feeling like, oh, hang on. The guy that I liked, all of a sudden I shouldn't
It's fake
like,
content
and
now.
even
You
he
got to
agrees.
stand behind what you do, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, what about the Miranda Sings drama? The Colette Ballinger, who's like, Miranda Sings? You've got to know
Yeah,
Miranda. Like, she's
vaguely.
like
Does she
the
sing?
safest person on YouTube. She went in...
I know it's a stupid question. I'm assuming she's she's a musician, yeah?
No,
But
really.
imagine
She's a comedian, like-
if
Oh,
King
okay.
of Pete was its own YouTube channel and character, basically, but like girl.
Right, so it's a character.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I don't
well,
think
no,
we
she
know
just-
enough about this, Christian, to go into this one.
No. But to prove your point, she didn't make excuses or she apologised for what she had done. But because she was like, she explained herself without it, without crying, without it compromising her content. Exactly what you said. She came out pretty unscathed, and it was, like the perfect apology sort of.
The
move on from
minute you
drama.
back down to the mob that's when they kill you. Because they don't want a resolution. They want you fucking dead. And the minute you show weakness, it's over. Because then even your supporters are like, oh, why the fuck do I like this guy? Not even he likes what he
They just want to tear each other
does.
down. Like,
Yeah.
like Tati Westbrook got teared down. And
Yeah.
James and Jeffrey and all of these people. If you bring up Ethan, like if you bring it
Yeah.
up, you're just opening other people to tear you down. Like it's...
But ultimately, they're all millionaires. So why the fuck do we give a shit?
I know. Why am I so...
It's
why do I
literally
love
just
the drama?
millionaire death fights, isn't it? It's like get two millionaires into a ring and watch them throw shit at each other for our
Watch
entertainment.
their AdSense go up because we're all
Yeah.
watching it.
Yeah,
Except for me,
it's
I'm
crazy.
just chilling. Christian, I did want to talk about, I don't know if it's a thing you've ever spoken about, but I've always wondered this.
Uh-oh.
Maybe it's just because you loved it, but why the fuck? Lewis and I used to talk about it all the time. Why did you used to work at the radio station when you were massive online?
Yeah.
We used to think it was crazy because you were like 3 times as big as us, and we were like, why are you working here
'Cause-
in content?
It didn't make any money when I was there. Like Facebook and YouTube, I made no money. Maybe probably. I wasn't making any money. From
I guess
it.
we
It
were
was
living
going
at home.
Really well.
Yeah, we were just living at home, making no money, chilling.
Yeah, we could afford to make no money, I suppose.
Yeah, you're an
But
adult.
also, I think.
Yeah, I think that's probably the answer.
So was I.
I'm 32.
I only just moved out. I'm
Yeah,
26.
but we're pathetic. That's not one thing you take into account, Christian. is
But
we
I
are the
had a
worst.
dream to be Kyle Sanderlands of all people. That's why I got
Yeah.
into radio, and so I really wanted to be a breakfast host, and I tried really hard, and that failed, and then I ended up just falling into the digital space and filming and
Yeah.
editing and doing, and I mean. If I could have left earlier, I would have, but it wasn't up until really when I left, just before my big sort of Australia tour, I realised, I'm generating enough income here, I can go off on my own. And it was the risk is you cut ties with your full-time employment and you'll either, do really well because you've got all this time, or you
Or
realise
come
that...
crawling
Oh,
back.
God. Yes! But luckily it's been good.
Yeah, I
So
mean, yeah,
fingers
no,
crossed it's
I
good.
understood why you worked there because it was actually a great company to work at, and like the people
Really
were
was.
awesome, stuff like
Yeah.
that. And
The
I
people
just
were awesome. The company was terrible.
right, but okay, well, I wasn't going to trash
You
it
have
in
more
case we
experience
want
than us.
You know what? We might have to come crawling back, so I'm not throwing stones yet. Okay, but The actual workplace I thought was really good. But at the same time, though, I didn't work in sales or an actual job. We just fucked around and got invited to free beers on a Friday, you know? So I thought it was great.
Working at content and the people was so much fun. Like, I was so lucky I ended working on the show that I was on, which was the afternoon, Carrie and Tommy, which was in the afternoon.
That would have been a really fun show to work on.
Oh, my God. Sonder, I don't know if you knew Sonder, who was the EP.
I think we met her.
Yeah.
Just the craziest bitch in the history of the world and hysterical. So you'd go to work every day and you'd be crying with laughter and you'd think to yourself, I can't believe I'm getting paid to do almost...
It's so fun.
At the end, I was uploading one Instagram story for Carrie and Tommy and I was getting paid a lot of money for doing that. And I think that's why I held on to it for so long. Cause
It's like any good job. You're like, you need to move on. I mean, I used to work, this is not really the same thing, but I used to work at a golf club, right? And I used to have the best job. I used to pick up the range balls on the driving range. So I was the guy who drove around in the cart and people used to have shots at.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I used to just pump like Hamish and Andy podcasts and whatever, listen to music. And no one supervised me. I used to eat chicken and just play games on my phone.
Chicken, like that's you at your wildest.
Dude, I was like 17. I was like, dude, free chicken, free dim sims. This is the fucking life. Like,
that's so great.
But like, I remember I needed to move on, and then the first ever job I had after that was the radio station, and that's the only reason why I moved on, because I knew it was another job that wasn't a real job.
Yeah.
But if I'd have got offered an actual real job, I probably wouldn't have moved on. I'd be still like going there to do my 3-hour shift, you know? It is hard moving on from a good thing, for sure.
Yeah, it's very hard.
Well, now that you've moved on from radio, like, what do you want to do? Like, because you have a podcast, right?
Yeah. I get asked this all the time. Well, the podcast, I don't know if you feel the same. The podcast fills that radio void that I wanted. Yeah. And it offers you a platform and an audience. And I also view radio... I come from a place where I spent 10 years doing it and I'm burnt out, so I'm a little bit bitter. But I look at radio and I'm like, it's dying though. Like, what?
Oh, we could see it dying in front of us when we were there.
From when we started, we were like, oh man, these guys might make it. They're investing in a digital thing. And then something way, way, way above us changed, and we saw the difference, and we were like, oh, they're just going to be radio until they die, is what the vibe that we got.
Yeah, because there was a moment, I think you must have seen this too, it was probably the same moment that I saw, where I was like, they came to me to look at maybe investing in me as talent, and so doing deals and taking commissions, and I was like, wow, it's going to turn into an entertainment brand now. And then
it's going to get audio rather than radio.
That's why we thought they got us in. And then we found out 2 months into the job that they actually had no idea we had a lot of Instagram followers. Like, our bosses, they had no idea. So, which was a credit, which means they actually enjoyed our radio show, because they just thought we were two nobodies from, like, who were friends from high school or something. I don't know what they thought, but they liked our demo.
The guy who hired us knew the potential. The guy who hired us knew about it. But no one else within
No one else at the company. And people used to be like, what are you on Instagram? And everyone's like, oh, you guys comedians. And we're like, why the fuck did you hire us?
Video with the clock and the glasses. Like,
legit. They were like, oh, we had no idea. And I remember the day in the air check when our boss found out, and he was just shocked. He was like, oh, boys, I think this is a good thing here we've got going. And I'm like, you should have done your research a bit more. It was weird.
I had a similar moment where I felt like I was really undervalued right up until they realised I had 500,000 people on Facebook. And then next minute, pay rises. I had I was valued within the team, and I could start calling shots. But my digital bosses knew. They were always so supportive, and I felt very respected.
It's it's a weird disconnect. Yeah, it was the digital people totally got it, and I felt like we were going to the digital people, and they were going, we know, and they would just yell up, fix it, we're going to die, fix it, we have the solution. And then the executives would go, what's a phone? I don't get it, no.
But when I was there, I don't know if you guys got the same perspective, I got the perspective that everyone who worked there lived in this little bubble of radio. And they used to talk about radio drama. Like, they're like, oh, have you seen Who Moved to Perth? And I used to go in there, because I'm a comedian. I got, like, no offense, like, to all those people. Some of my really good friends still work there, but, like, I got shit going on. Like, you know what I mean? Outside of
Yeah.
radio, we got comedy, we do tours. When we used to come into meetings like, oh my God, did you see who bloody moved to Albury? And you're like, what? I don't care about the breakfast show in Albury. But like people used to, it's just radio was their life.
It's a bubble, though.
It
But
is.
Yeah, it's a bubble.
It's such a fascinating bubble because as soon as, like, I'd fallen out of the bubble when I worked for Carrie and Tommy. And I think that's why I ended up loving the show because you just don't give a shit about the politics within radio. But
Well, because Tommy and Carrie, they have so much shit going on outside of radio.
Radio is like their third little bit of work. You know, so they're not in the bubble of radio. The ratings is so fascinating to me because...
Isn't it?
This is what I say.
It's still done by a form, isn't it?
Yep,
Handwritten.
and we constantly were told, it's like an Excel spreadsheet, printed. And you get told
for
that
listeners who
radio's
don't
not dying.
understand, I'll just explain ratings. Basically, they send out a couple hundred forms to random people, and the ratings of radio is decided by, they just ask random people, they go, what did you listen to this week?
Couple of thousand people?
And a couple thousand people won't do it, and then the other half will do it, send it back, and then you might have a few thousand people going, oh, I listened to this and I listened to that. And whether they actually did, or like whether someone actually listened to Hamish and Andy or they saw them on Facebook and watched that clip, they would probably write Hamish and Andy and they go, all right, Hamish and Andy at the top, which they probably were. And that's how the whole industry was done, of just literally
It's how it's still done.
But here's
Guesswork
where I
off
go,
other people's guesswork.
the part that boggles me is, you know, the 1,000 incomplete surveys?
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't done my research here. I'm pretty sure. Well, they're not. No, because they're not counted. There's no percentage of non-listeners in a survey. So it's always 100%. So you're always going to have these percentages that equal 100%. And while people are going to say there's a thing called CUME, which gives you the physical numbers, but it's an assumption based off of 500 people that said they were listening. So there's no accurate reflection in here of radio dying, and so all these bigwigs are being like, it's the best it's ever been. You know, Fox has 1 million listeners, and you're like,
do you?
I'm like, there's no way. A friend of mine said, we were talking, and we were on like this pier, and he gave the analogy. He was like, there's 14 people on this pier. According to the survey, 2 of them promptly listened to this one station. And he's like, there's no way. There's just no way that there's... Out of 14 people, these 2 are religiously listening to this station. You know,
but it
You can
doesn't
just tell by the
matter
amount of
because-
calls that come through of how many people are listening. Like, you know, when Hamish and Andy were on, we watched them do their show once. The calls, that every single board in the radio station got lit up within a second. Right?
Oh
So that,
my God, I know.
that means like a lot of people are. Now, I don't know what Carrie and Tommy was like, but I've watched another drive show go to air, and it wasn't the same. So it's like, you can tell how many people are listening by just how many people engage with the show.
It also speaks to the content of the show and is relatable.
True.
But then there's that also element of Hamish and Andy were so good and so familiar, and they were
transcended radio.
there. But they were there for that radio heyday before.
Yes.
You know, Netflix and Instagram and podcasting sort of took off, like Kyle and Jackie O and like Jonesy and Amanda. So you've got these people that we all know and we're all familiar with. As soon as they leave radio, I think radio's pretty much going to have to change quite dramatically.
That's kind of why Luke and I were like, I don't know if radio is going to happen, because after the Hamish and Andy's, Hughesy's.
It's just gonna happen. It happened. It's done.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
I think our
thinking
was when after Hughesy, Will Anderson, Hamish and Andy, Kyle and Jackie O, when all of these like huge people that have the ability and the presence to do drive radio, when they all retire in 5 years max, who the fuck is going to replace them? Who has the skill and the momentum to replace these titans? They're not there. They haven't invested in them. It's just going to die. When these people retire, that's radio done. Unless
I think our hope was we could get not a massive paycheck, but I think the reason why we stuck in it for more than we maybe should have was that we were hoping that maybe they would get really desperate and go,
They'd
we
take a
have no one
risk.
to replace these people, and take a risk on us who had these big online followings. But then we realized that upper management doesn't seem like they're ever going to value us
but,
anyway,
you
so
know,
it doesn't
like,
matter.
That's what they said, you know, a good friend of mine, Tanya.
Wait,
Perfect example.
She was on
And
National
nothing was done
Breakfast,
with her.
wasn't she?
Well,
on a
she was
weekend.
on Weekend Breakfast, but that,
Yeah.
I mean, that's the show where you go to die, basically. And that's,
Yeah.
you know, like
It
all the
is.
Today FM failed shows, they got let go from Today FM Breakfast and they went to Weekend Breakfast because they had to see out their contract. And so, you know, you had Tanya, who was really good on radio and had a huge online following, but it didn't matter to them. They
Is she got a big
see the value in
podcast?
her.
Did she ever continue that elsewhere?
No, I've been
should.
I've been trying to get her to podcast.
should,
I think
sure.
she's going to start something. But, like, her
Tanya and
dream-
Christian Hull show. You heard it here first. Maybe do it.
growing up, you know, like that was your dream, is to be on TV and radio.
Is she from Brisbane?
Yeah.
And then Sydney.
Ah, okay. So you'd have to.
So she really had a passion and a drive to be on radio because it
Well,
was so
there is
big
something
in your life.
as much as we, you know, as much as we talk about it dying, there's something fucking magic about radio, of like having the studios and having the team around you, a team of producers helping you create the best show ever, having people call in live. There's something about that magic that just isn't there with podcasting, and maybe never will be. I as much as I shit talk radio, I really do miss that element of live in the moment callers,
Real
having
connection.
producers and a
Yeah.
team and like a whole thing. And I suppose that's something that Luke and I could definitely build over like fucking 10 years. But there's something about radio that I don't think podcasting will ever have.
Well,
and
that's the thing,
a
'cause
shame to see it go.
People actually prefer, I mean, content like this, us just talking about stuff for a long period of time.
Yeah.
But I, as a consumer, maybe because I grew up listening to it, maybe I'm different. I fucking love that thing of it's just entertainment. Like, it's
Yeah.
not really people even being real. It's
2
like
to 4 minute breaks
Oh,
in
yeah.
Yeah,
out.
it's 4 minutes
yeah,
and it's designed to entertain, and that's gone now. Because unless
Yeah.
on our main channels we still do videos like that, like your videos are designed to entertain, and this is you being a bit more casual. But podcasting is always just casual and authenticity. That's what it's been built off.
Yeah.
And I feel like if we started doing the thing of, you know, Hamish and Annie's podcast, they do like talk breaks still, like the radio format
Yes.
where they ding the
Yeah.
bell. I
Yeah.
wonder if that format will die. Obviously, it works for them because that's what people know them for. But I wonder after
Because
that,
that's just
if
built because obviously radio
people
has
probably don't
songs
even
and
want
ads.
that anymore.
I don't think so.
I don't know. I like it, but maybe other people don't
No,
like it.
I think it's I think that format is amazing. It's just that radio, you only get it in your car, really.
Yeah.
At ease, you're forced to listen to it in your car, and it's not an on-demand sort of. I mean, it can never be if you're doing live stuff.
Yeah.
But it's just we've got so many different platforms and access to so much that you only had TV, radio, and newspapers. Like, you
Well,
only
yeah,
had
it
three
comes down to
choices.
why would I listen to? I love the radio show, but why I want to hear them talk. I don't want to hear the music that
No
you've
songs.
picked for me. You know.
Yeah.
Like I think
Yeah.
the
if
only
you want to
way
listen
that
to
radio
music now, you listen to music on Spotify.
Yeah.
If you
No,
listen
do
to
you
people
know what?
talking, you listen
TikTok.
to a podcast.
I get
Yeah.
all my new music from TikTok. It's insane.
Really?
Yes.
So you hear a song on TikTok, then look it up afterwards?
Yep, and then I
It's
go, this
huge.
is the best song ever. And they play you
Yeah.
the hook. You get a 15-second hook in a TikTok video, and you're like, oh, I like this. Then I tap it, and then I go, right, and then I got a playlist, and I just add it to my
Oh,
playlist.
it's fucking huge. Like the amount of times I have like scrolled through TikTok and then I step in the car and the radio's on and I go, oh, that's a TikTok song. I
Yes,
discover hits on TikTok before radio. That's
Yeah, but-
fucking nuts.
Yeah, but you know what
Yeah.
fucking rubs me the wrong way? Someone goes to me the other day, and this is me this was the saddest shit I've ever done. Right?
Grandpa Kidgel
This is a
entered the
boomer
chat.
moment, right?
Yeah.
I felt sad as shit, and I caught myself during it, but I was like, fuck them. They were listening to Simple Plan, I'm Just a Kid. They're like, I love this
Oh.
TikTok song. And I was like, you
saw you,
fucking
yes.
take that back. I know, I put that on
Yeah.
TikTok,
Posted
and it
that.
went
Yeah, I
nuts.
saw it. Yes, I saw that. That's so funny.
Dude,
No,
and
you're
I've
right.
never
Grandpa
felt like
Kidgel's
a bigger...
right. in that situation.
No, man. When you catch yourself openly defending Simple Plan, you're the worst.
Yeah.
Like, I don't
Yeah.
care about Simple Plan. Who cares? Like, I don't know. They're okay. They're a good band, I guess. But, you know, that's what bothers me is like, man, you kids of today, mate, that is more than a TikTok song. That was in Cheaper by the Dozen. All right?
But isn't TikTok just this insane thing? It's like
It's crazy.
It's the old Facebook. Like
Yeah.
my manager said, Christian, he begged me. He was like, "Please get on it. I
You're
promise."
huge,
it'll
man.
But then it's so easy.
Yeah, it
you
is.
can create things and it blows up. And it's really
Tell Lewis how to
passion.
do that because he is in struggle town at the moment.
I haven't I crack the shits with them. They don't let me post my fuck stuff, which is my problem. I think I've
really-
worked out what I'm going to do. What I'm going
They
to do...
mute a lot of my videos. They don't take them
same
down.
here.
They
Mine are
just
safe.
mute them.
What I've decided
Yeah.
to do, I'm going to start this. I can't do my edgy stuff and I can't post a lot of my stand-up. So what I'm going to do is I am literally going to read a bunch of my best tweets because and comments of me replying and wrecking people. I think
Yeah.
that's going to be my lane. I haven't
Yeah,
seen
with
it
the
on
green
TikTok.
screen.
Yeah, with the
Yeah.
green screen because I
I've seen
did
it.
one of
Dude,
of,
it's massive. That's why I was going to start doing it. I saw
yeah,
someone
but
else
people
doing
are
it, and I was
reading
like, I'm going to rack it.
other people's tweets. People are reading other people's, not their own. So if I can
Oh,
read
true.
my own and it has my name, people are like, oh, that guy's funny. I'm going to follow that. That's going to
Yeah,
be
I was
my
going to
thing.
do the ones where I read my replies to all the bots that comment on my Instagram. I always like reply
Yes.
to all the bots going like, do you want slut pussy? And I just, respond.
I did something like
So I'm
that.
like, fuck yeah.
It got like 250,000 views, just me replying and wrecking someone in the comments. So I think that's going to be my thing. I mean, that's where I started, so I think it'll work on TikTok.
Well, my favourite TikTok is of the two of you, and you accidentally drop your other girlfriend's name.
Oh, yeah, that was brutal.
one.
Oh, mate, that is one of my favourite TikToks
Shining
of all
moment.
time. And just the reaction.
That got
and,
500,000 views on Meg's TikTok. Absolutely
God.
brutal stuff.
so good.
Yeah. But that's the thing, like, I think that goes back to the authenticity of podcasts. Like, we could have easily cut that out. Like, I was like,
Yeah.
Lewis after was like, are we going to keep that in? And I was like, fuck yes. That was the funniest thing that's ever happened on our show.
God,
We
it
have
was
to leave
so
it in.
Funny. It was so
You know what
funny.
the brutal part about this? I know for a fact that the ex-girlfriend who I mentioned in it, she would have seen it. Like,
You
someone
would
would
have
have sent
had
it to her. It got
Yeah.
500,000 views.
Yeah,
And I
you'd
also
see
posted
that.
it on my Instagram.
Yeah.
That probably helped as well.
That was the discussion. When I was like, do you want to delete that? Luke's like, no. And I said, okay, but consider she's definitely seeing it. And then and we were
yeah.
like, oh, yeah, I mean, we have to.
It's not. I'm not bad mouth. I'm not saying anything bad.
No,
It's
you
more,
didn't
no.
say, that's why. We didn't say anything bad because that's all. You obviously
Yeah,
would never
definitely
do
brutal.
that.
So,
TikTok's
what's
definitely reignited a passion to create content. Because
Yeah.
Instagram,
I love it.
you're
Facebook,
great at TikTok. Like I just
mean, that's
re-upload my
it's-
stand-up and my YouTube videos in the TikTok format. That's all I do. I don't make any original content, but you like make original stuff for it.
But if you look at it, like I ate some chocolate, and next minute it's getting 1 million views. Or you duet a video and it gets 1 million. It's really like you. don't have
Your
to put
new
any
one
effort
just
into
says,
it.
"Remember eucalyptus drops."
Yeah, it's piss easy. That's
Yeah.
it. I
Yeah.
hold some eucalyptus drops up and talk about it. And
That
you
has
know,
55,000 views.
It's,
Amazing.
It's crazy. People, it's one of the. It's this.
This is the crazy part is because I thought it was quite an insignificant app to be on, and I get stopped on the street and get said, "Oh, you're that TikToker," and that blows my mind. Like they
Yeah, I've
don't
got
know me
recognised from
from any
TikTok.
other platform, and TikTok, and they're mostly younger, and so it's exposed me to this whole new audience.
That's where the new generation
And-
is. Because, like, as an
Yeah.
online entertainer, you have to always be looking for the next generation of 15-year-olds. It's got a lot in common between you and
It's so
pedophiles,
true.
really. Like, you always need to be on the hunt for those young kids because at some point
gonna
they
grow
get
up
older
and
and they
have
get
money.
and then you're not interested in them.
Here's another really interesting thing is, like, I mean, I don't hear from the Paul brothers anymore, so that's going to be...
I watched
What are they
Logan.
doing?
Logan's videos are great.
Logan's very, very
Now,
good.
this year,
He's adapted though, hasn't he?
Yes,
He's not
Jake
doing that
hasn't.
real
Yeah,
shit.
Jake has
Jake's
not.
he's
doing
not-
shit stuff still.
Yeah, and then like Jenna Marbles has not changed her style of content really
Yeah.
at all.
She's
because
still going well.
But she's been so
Only on
authentic from day
YouTube,
one.
I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. And that authenticity from the get-go, and the fact that she never did collabs, she just did her bizarre content, has kept her longevity alive. And then I look at someone like Tyler Oakley, who was an enormously, probably one of YouTube's biggest creators
He
in
was
2017, 16, 15. The reason he gets nothing. He's got 7 million subscribers, and he gets like 34,000 views a video.
He's a character. You need to be
no, it's
genuine.
not that he's not him. He is himself now, but I wish I could credit this person. I watched a video that explained it so perfectly. He grew his following so quickly by collaborating and bringing in other people's audiences that didn't really like him. They liked the other people. And so now he's got 7 million people because he wasn't being really authentic. He was bringing in other people. He was doing challenges. He was doing things that just were a gimmick at the time. And now...
Man, I get surprised every year by, like, I always freak out. Like, Lewis and I have this conversation every year, and Lewis has to reassure me that it's going to be fine. I put my tickets on sales. I book bigger rooms every year, and I go, Lewis, this is stupid. I've grown 5,000 followers on Instagram since last year. And he goes, trust me, they'll come. And way more people will come.
5,000 cunts who like you.
I know. That's the thing, though. And I think this is stupid. And then every year, man, I only have, 90,000 subscribers on Instagram. I sell over 3,000, 4,000 tickets a year. That ratio is insane.
Yeah. But you look at it from a social media following perspective, Taylor Swift, 50,000 people is a humongous stadium. It's like the biggest stadium in Australia, and you've got 90,000 people. That's so many people.
Right.
And then you
but not all of them are from Australia. Like, you look at your analytics, you're like, all right, 60, 70% are from Australia. You're like, okay, so that cuts it down to this. No, but it's just what you were saying about the loyalty and building your own audience.
Yeah, loyalty. But that's the other thing that with Facebook, while I go, I've gone from 1 million views to 100,000. It's still a lot of views, but that's 100,000 who are actually actively engaged, rather than 1 million who are just getting them in their feeds. It's just getting them in their feed. That's what the other 900,000
It's often
was.
like
Still,
what really ensures success is not those viral hits. Like, you get 1 million, 10 million. Like, my vaccine video has 15 million views. I don't sell 15 million tickets. I don't get 15 million people watching all my other shit. It's the 15 million is awesome, but it's that fucking 100,000 of those 15 million that go, I actually really like this guy. I'm going to look at his other stuff. And that's when you have that core audience of people who always come back to watch. Those are the people that matter. The viral hits add to that tiny number in comparison, but ultimately it's those videos that don't go viral and they're entertaining people every single day. That's the shit that matters in this business.
Podcasts
rather than
actually sell more tickets than videos, I reckon.
Yeah, definitely. If people listen to you an hour a week, they are coming to a show. They're getting the t-shirt. They're going to support you
you're
on
in
Patreon.
their ears for an hour a week. They're just like doing other stuff where you're talking to them. Like, that's loyalty.
That's why we appreciate the people who listen to this show so much, because we were on radio. We had way more people listening to our show than we do today. But those people in their cars didn't give a fuck about us. The people listening to this really do, and that's why we're doing better, even though less people are listening.
Can I ask, with your experience, and you're probably best not naming any names, being in comedy, do you ever find people that went the traditional route? Maybe a couple of years
We've
ago,
talked about this
social
a lot.
media. Oh, yeah.
You're not alone, mate. It's normal.
Okay, because I remember people openly saying, not realising I had a following and that I was doing a tour, just within earshot, not understanding how sort of people on social media were able to do these large shows or to sell tickets, and they sort of. I can understand their frustrations, but I'm terrified of the comedy community because of that opinion, and it's like, I would say you guys are like that new generation who have capitalised on the social audience in order to sell tickets, and
it's just I think it's ultimately bitterness. Slog. It's bitterness, and it's a shame because they don't realise that we and from what I've experienced with all of the other online guys who do stand up as well, is we welcome everyone into this world, and every time a new person starts blowing up and starts doing shows, we are all happy because that's a win for all of us, and we will continue to do that. It's such a shame that we haven't received that from a lot of the traditional route, because the problem is they'll talk shit, they don't even realize that they could do it too. And they can do both. We were on radio, we did online. It's possible to do both. I think that's why I was so stoked to do radio as well when we first started it, was because especially at that time for me, there was a lot of traditional comics talking shit about the online people, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm not a real comedian. Watch me take your job too.
Dude, people got so angry when we got put on Fox.
Woo!
Really?
Comedians. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, why would you give these boys the shows? Because, dude, like, here's the thing. We're in. I feel like I'm in every single world. I've been in mainstream, and it's so weird because we were like we're working in the same building as Husey, and then afterwards I was also heading out to open mics. But then I was playing big rooms like the Comics Lounge. Then I was doing I did a theater on my tour. And then I went to an open mic the day after I filmed my special. I remember 2 days after I filmed my comedy special in a theater, I did an open mic to 6 people just to, feel that fucking burn again, But I think my point is people just will say what they want about you. People see one thing and go hang on, he's doing an open mic. Why is he on Fox? I'm because you can do both.
Yeah.
You don't have to be... because I've
People
got
think
shit
it's
going on
easy.
in other
they
areas.
They don't respect how difficult it is, and they think if you're successful in one avenue, that means you're not putting the work in another.
People are really bitter who do small, a lot of comedians in Melbourne, were really bitter that we got, because they've been doing it for longer. Some people have been doing it for 10 years, and then they've just been doing comedy, and they're great comedians, but I guess we really came in and all guns blazing though. We were sending in demos, we were going out gigging at night.
We were trying harder.
But well, that was
we really were.
When I learned, when I sold the first show, I was always very scared to post anything about. It sold out pretty quickly, which I was super happy with, very proud, and but I was also really scared to post anything because I guess I'd overheard people saying things like they don't understand how, I go into a show and I can sell 500 tickets.
They just
easily.
don't see it as legitimate because they've been striving forever to do it themselves.
Yeah. The problem is it's all they see is you selling that theatre in a few days or a few weeks, and they think it's easy. They don't realise that when there's a regular punter and they're at the Melbourne Comedy Festival comes around or whatever, and the punter has a decision. Am I going to see the guy that has an ad on a tram that his management picked for him, or am I going to see the guy that has been entertaining me every single week on Facebook, on YouTube, on the podcast? It's a no-brainer now. So all of these comics, they don't understand that we didn't sell those tickets in a day. We sold them in a year. So they market their show when it goes on sale. We market for the last 5 fucking years. That ticket took a year to sell, not from the week we put it on sale. And that's what these people don't realize.
I also am really thankful that I don't think I could have gone down that traditional route. I've sold an audience of people that know exactly who I am. I can fart and vomit on stage and they'll laugh and then I can leave. It's sort of like a buffer. Yeah. So I'm this is great.
Yeah, I think we are at an advantage where we also do have the respect. By the way, we're not saying everyone just fucking hates Lewis and I. We do have the respect of a lot of other comedians because we go out and do gigs 4 nights a week as well.
You do
we're on
open
both
mics.
sides.
You do the more traditional.
Yeah, so a lot of people respect us for doing that and that. I have a lot of comedians going, "Oh, you guys are the good online comics because you actually do comedy." And I'm okay, but what's I don't have a problem with either side. I'm dude, because why do you have a problem with the people who don't go out and do open mics? Oh, they're just cheating, they're cutting the queue or whatever. And you're there's no queue. You can book a theatre and do it if you want, but you can't. I don't like calling myself
a comedian because it does
I've seen your stand-up comedy on Facebook and it's at the Comics Lounge and you were doing a bit and I laughed. That's your stand-up.
But in terms of it doesn't feel I look at people Joan Rivers, or who've written jokes and who really craft.
But
and
who
it's just a
has
storyteller.
fucking
I'm just a
50
storyteller.
years on you? That's an unhealthy comparison to make. What you should be looking at is what was Joan Rivers doing when she was my age, or not even my age, my level of experience. So if you've been doing it for a year, I mean, you're going to be just as bad as fucking Bill Burr was when he was doing it for a year. And at some point, that's probably going to divulge because he is a freak. But you should never really be comparing yourself to greats. You should just be comparing yourself to who you were last year.
But see,
and then maybe a little bit of like, I would like to be more successful than this comedian was when they had been doing it for 30 years. Just like 30 days, rather.
I know this might sound really hypocritical. I don't feel like I compare myself to Joan Rivers. I feel like I'm being compared from these other people. I think it's probably something I need to get over.
The thing is, like, I look at it as like, how long have you been doing shows? Like 1 or 2 years live?
Yeah, about 18 months.
You are way better than pretty much any open micer that I've seen doing it for 18 months.
Yeah. And you
so you know what I mean? Like, so like,
really
therefore, what's the
good
difference?
Until you won't feel like...
You also get more stage time doing what you're doing because you do an hour, not 5 minutes.
And you're really not going to feel like you are good until you're 5 years in. I didn't feel like I knew with confidence that I was going to get on stage and definitely crush until I was 5 years in. There was still always that, I might bomb here because I haven't experienced this or whatever. It takes 5 years to get pretty good at stand-up because you just can't practice. You can get amazing at guitar in a year, easy, if you practice every single day, 6 hours a day. You cannot do that with stand-up. It's impossible.
You need the audience.
You need the audience there.
They're pushing me to try and do more open mic, unannounced comedy, but...
Do it.
That's so scary.
It is scary, and you'll be fucking shit. You'll be terrible. But that's normal. That's what a lot of people need to get realized.
What other people
gonna be shit.
You probably will realize you probably will have a bunch of fans in the crowd anyway. Like whenever I go to pubs and stuff, there's always like one table of young people that go, "Oh fuck yeah, Luke Hidgel's here. This will be sick," and they go, "Shut the fuck up." You know, like you already have respect of some of the room anyway.
As long as they're laughing, you're like,
yeah. Well, no, it's good to have people in the room that have got you back the minute you walk on stage. Because we do have followings online, you get that anyway, which is good. But the second thing is like, you don't realize you'll probably smash anyway because you're just likable, even if they don't know who you are. Yeah. Man, I've watched Frenchie destroy the Comics Lounge. No one knew who the fuck he was, right? Yeah. I watched Frenchie just annihilate a crowd. I've watched Shooter Williamson do it. Like a lot of people, what I think a bunch of comedians don't realize who are on the more traditional route is I've watched a bunch of online comics absolutely murder a crowd of people who don't know who they are.
Yeah. And that's the real mark is if you can do well in front of people who don't know who you are, you're good.
You would surprise yourself, Christian. I think you underestimate yourself.
Maybe.
I remember you were like so timid. The day you were about to leave for your tour, we were at the radio station. I remember you came up to Lewis and I and you were like, "Have you got any tips?" Like you were so nervous and we were like,
you'll be fine.
Because you were about to do the Comics Lounge, I think, and we were like, "Oh, by the way, you won't be able to see the audience when you get up there because the lights are really bright." And you were like, "What?"
yeah.
I remember you were like, "That's crazy."
That's the best though, and I would. That was my feedback for the lighting guys. I was like, "Can you make it so bright that I can't see anyone, please?"
See, I hate that. I like seeing it a little bit. Well, no, on my very first show, because the Comics Lounge, they literally sit on the stage. Yeah.
It's weird.
One girl had brought her boyfriend and he fell asleep.
That's funny.
Oh, it was brutal. Because you can only see that first row. So there was four people and one was asleep.
So in your head, a quarter of the audience is asleep.
Yeah, that's rough.
It is fun, man. I don't understand you, Christian. You're an interesting character. I don't know how you can walk into a gangbang with confidence, but you can't get on stage.
Oh, mate, I would happily walk naked into a gangbang if I did not know than get on stage.
I think you have more confidence when your cock's out than just being in front of people. Like,
yeah, don't imagine the audience is naked. Just imagine you are.
Imagine you are.
I get naked and pretend it's a gangbang.
Hey, I have to run. I gotta pee. I'm gonna be back in a sec.
Everyone's like, best show ever. You get out there and just like, you're like, except for the fact that he was naked, he was on it tonight. That would be great.
Okay. Now Lewis is gone.
Yeah.
Oh no, I can't because you're his lawyer.
I'm his lawyer, so do you want to tread carefully, Christian? Okay? Very sneaky behaviour.
Okay.
So what's on for the rest of isolation? Just
Well, I've really
videos.
gotten into art.
I
make
saw
these
your
wire
wire
faces.
hangings.
Yeah, so like when I was living at home and had no responsibilities, I would just make all these weird artworks out of wire. I even tried to enter into a big exhibition called Sculpture by the Sea in at Bondi. And I've just been doing that. Like I've turned into a nana, cooking, sitting, a lot of sitting. And I'm just excited for this to be over and I can go back to... I'm just going to go back to my old life, which was exactly the same. Nothing has changed for me.
Yeah, you're like
I'm
Lewis.
still...
Sorry, mate, you left for
Like a
2 minutes
hermit.
and we started talking about Christian knitting.
I knew it. Oh, you're
there was a
knitting.
real... Yeah.
Grandma
Yeah.
Christian.
I think
Yeah.
maybe Lewis was carrying this podcast because
gonna
there was
say,
a
Lewis is
fucking
the
natural
catalyst for
lull.
entertainment
Yeah.
here.
It really fucking dipped when you left.
Oh, fuck.
Good when it's just like, it's like, you know... like
It's because we
Lewis
were
is
used to this dynamic of the three of us, and
Yeah.
then there was a bit where I was
Isn't
like,
that
"Hey,
funny?
so what have you been up to?"
Man, we
So
might have
I
to
was
adjust
like,
our...
oh, art. Edit that out. That was
Christian?
So, and here we go. Fucking heinous.
No, Christian, let's never do a podcast together because I think we proved that we have fucking no chemistry at all.
God.
Well,
No, I
maybe
think we do off camera.
Maybe you
I
should
think
send
we
him
get
a
along
picture
quite
of your
well.
dick, Luke.
Maybe I need to.
That's what it is.
Lewis, could you represent me?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not going to
I'll
make
sign
big
an
calls
NDA for
like Lewis on the show.
Hey, we
Yeah,
can't
that's
confirm or
probably what I
deny anything happening as per the agreements. It will never be said. But I
Now,
will say
bef-
the Daniel Tocknell episode was
Well, I'm
very
glad
good.
I can just picture exactly what you just did in the bathroom there. vivid imagery.
Yeah. Now, Christian,
So awkward. Yeah, sorry, go on.
before we head off, is there anything you need to plug? Anything you want to address, talk about?
Where can the people find you?
Which platform do you push people to?
YouTube.
Yeah.
We push them to YouTube.
I mean, I'm TikTok famous on the show, but compared to you, I'm usually the most TikTok famous. I'm a TikToker. These guys are YouTubers.
I think the people would really like your
comedians,
podcast,
podcasters.
Christian. I reckon they'd like your
Podcast?
podcast. Yeah.
I mean, that's saying a lot. It's called Complete Drivel. Just search for it. Well, you
Yeah.
know when people
Search
give
Christian
their
Hull.
handles or their URL, just Google Christian Hull podcast.
I know. I hate
Yeah.
when you go like when people go, "Where can I find this?" And you're like,
Just Google
"Hey,
Google it.
common sense. Don't be stupid." I don't know what to tell these people. Dude, people are so dumb these days. Like, I reckon
Yeah.
it's a credit, or not a credit. It's a reflection
Discredit.
on the education system that they don't teach you how to do things yourself to the basic level of like, oh, I want to find out more about someone. Maybe
Grandpa
I'll chuck it
Kitchell
into a
sent it to
search
chat.
engine.
Bloody
like when
kids
I-
I'm
today.
back. And also, don't fucking say Simple Plan is a TikTok song. All right, I'm done.
Okay, all right, good. Well, thanks for
Right.
having me.
No
Hey, it's
worries,
been a pleasure.
Christian. Yeah, definitely check out Christian's podcast, Complete Dribble.
Trying to-
Just Google it, you'll find it. It's very, very funny.
Can I just quickly? Sorry.
Yeah.
Maybe I probably should take this off air. Have you guys locked in or have a pencil date for your tours?
I just told my
honestly-
management, let's shoot again for next year because,
Yeah, right.
oh, dude, like 100
for
people.
November.
They haven't even allowed 100 people in a pub.
I
Maybe
know.
100 people by the end of the year. But dude, I'm a TikToker now, so
100?
I'm gonna need thousands of
shit.
seats because I'm so
Yeah.
famous on TikTok.
I
Yeah.
think I reckon March is when it'll be pretty safe. But before then, I don't think so. Live
Hoping
shows
the
is
comedy
last.
festival goes ahead. I reckon the
hope
first
so.
time might be the comedy festival.
I reckon.
Yeah. Oh my
But I want to
God.
do gigs before then. I want to start
Yeah.
doing shows.
Well, I've got
like,
penciled in November, December, and you're the first people that were like, "Oh, you're pushing it," because we
I
had
don't
a
know
big
about that.
meeting with the touring company. And they're like, "Yeah, no, look, we'll announce September, and hopefully we'll know by September what restrictions are like." But then we also brought up the fact that people might be sitting a seat apart, which I think would be so fun to do a show, a social distancing show.
Yeah,
People
I would
in
love
America
to make
have started-
half the money that I would normally make. That would
No,
be
I
great.
know that's annoying, but I just really want to tour.
Yeah,
there's
I'm
comics
desperate
in
for
America that have started doing it. In Nebraska, they've opened up comedy clubs like.
America,
Wow.
though.
I know, they're
just-
stupid. I know.
Honestly.
Crazy.
They don't understand. But yeah, there are people who are doing it. I think we just got to wait here. And also, even if things do reopen, I want to give it a month to see if people are comfortable enough to actually go back out again.
Well, that's another
that's a
thing.
good
Just
point.
because, it's legal, are people even going to buy tickets? Like, me personally, I'm not... If shows were legalized tomorrow, I'm not going. I wouldn't buy tickets to anything.
But come
For my-
November, I'd be itching to get outside. I'd be
Yeah,
like, oh,
I
it's
got
fine.
Green Day
'Cause I'm-
booked in for
yeah.
November, and I just
Simple
need,
plan,
Fall Out Boy actually, co-headline tour with Weezer.
Fuck, I reckon Corona's the least of your worries there. That sounds cancer.
I'm so excited, man. Green Day, Fall Out Boy, and Weezer. Woo! Man, but I was so devastated. I already had My Chemical Romance cancelled in March. I'm fucking itching for some pop punk, okay? I need to get in that mosh pit and punch a bunch of 14-year-olds in the back of the head, Anyway.
Well, man, good luck. I hope they go ahead. Let's fingers crossed, bro. So yeah, thanks very much for coming on the show. Thanks to everyone who's listening. Make sure you support us on Patreon if you want bonus episodes and to join the Discord server because advertisers ain't doing nothing on our show, so we're relying on you. And check out Christian. He's a great friend, and that's the only thing I'll say about our relationship because everything else is covered by an NDA.
The only friend that has made me sign an NDA.
All right. Thank you very
See
much,
ya.
guys. We'll talk to you in a few days.